This is IGN. This cozy MMO life sim is endlessly relaxing and incredibly hard to put down. This is your IGN review of Palia by Travis Northrop. There's something uniquely satisfying about putting down roots in a sleepy town in games like Animal Crossing, Stardew Valley, or Disney Dreamlight Valley. Palia evolves this tradition to great effect, injecting large-scale multiplayer into that tried-and-true formula. After more than 70 hours of chopping down trees, hunting woodland critters, decorating my home, and hanging out with my fellow Palians, I've had a fantastic time catching up on all I've missed since the early days of the beta. There are beautiful regions to explore, interesting items and artifacts to craft or collect, and lots of compelling quests to complete. And the new content in the Elderwood expansion that arrived alongside its console launch added quite a bit to what was already a life-consuming vortex of coziness. That said, Palia still feels quite unfinished in some ways, with a story that abruptly cuts off right in the middle, and some pretty serious bugs and performance issues plaguing it. But it's easy to forgive much of that when you and your friends are enjoying a quiet evening of fishing together. Palia is a cozy life sim with one major tweak. You're in an online world that occasionally compels you to come out of your shell and interact with other humans, a sometimes Herculean task for the introverts often drawn to this genre. As you explore, you'll encounter others out in the shared world going about their business, and are encouraged or sometimes required to cooperate with them. For example, you'll get a buff for fishing with others, and will find magical trees that can only be chopped down with the help of one or more friends. This has led to a community that's astoundingly positive and helpful, with the vast majority of the public chat being PSAs from players who have found a valuable resource they'd like to share with strangers, then waiting for minutes on end for everyone to assemble before collecting it as a group. I spend a lot of time playing multiplayer games defined by the community's potent toxicity and savage greed, so this kind of culture was truly a shock to my system that took me a long time to adjust to. Although multiplayer is its signature twist, you can still do the vast majority of Palia's activities by yourself. There's also just a whole heck of a lot for you to do however you decide to tackle it, all in service of building up your home and improving your relationships with the NPC townsfolk. The usual Zen-like staples of cooking and catching bugs are all here and actually quite good. The fishing minigame, for example, is less mindless than you usually find in the genre, having to tug and pull on your rod as the fish leaps into the air and puts up a fight. There's even a few less common options like hunting, where you'll pick off poor critters who burrow into the ground and leap into trees as you pepper them with arrows. Palia has a surprisingly full-featured main story as well. It has you exploring ancient ruins to uncover the truth about a world which was once populated by humans who are curiously gone now, and the dark history of magic that seemingly caused the collapse of society. This adventure is much more lighthearted than that might sound, though, and you're mostly just given opportunities to learn about the world and hang out with the characters who accompany you on quests, while you platform around and solve simple puzzles. Per Palia's adherence to cozy virtues, none of this is particularly demanding, and the mainline quests can be completed in a matter of hours if you focus on them. But I enjoyed diving just a tad deeper into the world, and the break from grinding for iron ore to craft the next piece of furniture I just couldn't live without. The other major pursuit in Palia is in getting to know and develop relationships with its 26 NPC residents, most of whom are really well written and have a lot more to them than meets the eye. Most have an arc that takes place over several quests, where they let you see a bit more of their personality as you forge a friendship. I quite enjoyed hanging out with the sarcastic and moody daughter of the mayor, Kenyatta, who worked the front desk with all the enthusiasm of April from Parks and Recreation. But after helping her down the extremely chaotic path of discovering what she's passionate about in life, I grew to appreciate her in a less superficial way. Unfortunately, this is one area where time gating gets in the way of a good time, and is one of the only places Palia boxes you out. You're only allowed to chat with each character once per in-game day, a 30-minute period of real time, which improves your social links a very small amount, and you can only give each character a gift once per real-world day. So if you're trying to finish a particular character's story, you'll have to log in with regularity and be subjected to the same rotation of brief banter before you're able to make any real progress. The other major issue with Palia has been its bugs and performance issues, which have gotten remarkably better but are still pretty common. I quite frequently see NPCs sink into the floor, sometimes altogether hidden underground to the point where I can't interact with them. There's a bunch of very visible pop-in that happens while you're running around, and loading times when traveling between each section of the map feel far longer than they should. Palia is a fantastic multiplayer cozy life sim, with strong characters to bond with, engaging activities to grind, and a nearly endless chase for more resources to build your perfect home in the world's kindest village. I wouldn't have guessed that the cozy sensibilities of Animal Crossing would mix well with the online design of an MMO, but it's still difficult to pull myself away from setting off fireworks with friends and helping the bumbling mayor find his misplaced sandwich, even after more than 70 hours. There's still plenty of room for Palia to grow, whether it's the surprisingly brief story we've gotten thus far, a scarcity of multiplayer-focused activities to engage with, and enough bugs and performance issues to put a not-so-cuddly fly in the otherwise soothing ointment. But it's still a great candidate for your next virtual vacation. Palia's IGN score? 8 out of 10. Thanks for listening to IGN. My name is Tony Jackson, and for the latest Palia updates, visit us at IGN.com.
Spoken Layer.